we pretty much had to figure out how to live in an entirely new country in the first 6 weeks that we were there. So
Explain what you had to come with in your bank account and
we had to come here with 10 grand and got a 1 year work holiday visa. And then we had to get a taxpayer's number. We had to get a car. We had to get a bank account set up. We had to get an Australian phone number. We had to find a house in a housing crisis that we didn't know was happening. And furnish a house. We really did it all.
Hello there, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty, coming to you live from Australia. I don't know if you can see the great outback back here, but it is here. And if we could cue in the kangaroos, they would be hopping in right this second. It's the 4th of July here, not quite the 4th in America.
And by the time this episode airs, it will be well past the 4th of July. But we're going to spend today thinking about the great old US of A, appreciating the country we are from, but really appreciating the country we're in right now, because this country gives so much and the people are welcoming and we're having such a great trip here.
They do a lot of things right. We're here to visit my daughter who is living in Perth, and we decided to take a road trip from Perth, and now we are in surf country, which is all of it West Oz. Yelling up Margaret River is where we are and have been for the last 4 or 5 days, and it's absolutely beautiful. But what we will like to go on record saying is the way that they do things is spot on. There is no plastic here. There isn't a plastic problem. Every single restaurant that you go to, if they serve alcohol, they have to have water in glass bottles available for the public to consume. Anytime we want water, it's at our fingertips, not because we're drinking all the time, but because every restaurant does have water available, and it's not an upcharge, and it's not in plastic ever. It's clean here.
And the portions, when we go to the grocery store, buying a roll of paper towels is about this big. And they don't really use those kinds of things to the extent the house that we're staying at is outfitted with very minimalist things. You get one product for everything. And we've recognized that the great old US of A is a very much a want of the USA.
We're gluttonous. Even the toilet paper. And toilet paper is something that you can't really help using, and we're going through toilet paper, but even the toilet paper roll is not like a big Charmin supersized toilet paper roll. It's half the size of what you're normally used to. They do things in a very nice, quiet, low-key way. Not ostentatious. There could be affluence everywhere, but you don't see it. It's not in your face. They're very just low-key and casual about their lifestyles.
Absolutely.
The pace is very chill. Everybody that we've met has been kind, opening, and warming, wrapping their arms around us.
And we've been really fortunate because as most of you who tuned into us know, Mac, Farley's oldest daughter, has been living here and really enjoying her job at the Spudshed, which is a great market that not only are they taking over and just replicating their model everywhere, but they're also farmers. And that's where their roots came from, right, Far? They really understand what it's like to take things from the land and bring them farm to table, literally.
The grocery stores are insane. You walk in and there's a head of lettuce that's this gigantic, or cauliflower. Everything is fresh. You're salivating looking at the display of what they are bringing from their farms and presenting to you. Things are the right size as well. The dino-sized lettuce is just because it's thriving in the soil. The eggs are tremendous. The yolks are almost a fluorescent orange.
Yeah.
And they're housed right on the shelf with other products in local markets. Yesterday, we went to a market in Preveley, and they were right next to all the other goods on the shelf.
Yeah, no need for refrigeration. And where we're staying, that the soil is so fertile because it's very well known for their wines. They only produce about 3% of the wines internationally, but that's definitely growing. And
200 vineyards here.
The wineries are amazing. I would highly recommend for anybody who's willing to take that long journey to Australia. The way to do it from the East Coast is to go through Singapore. We took Singapore Airlines, and it was a 19-hour flight that actually ended up being a little quicker than that. I think we did it in 17 and a half because of the jet stream. They did an unbelievable job. It's an amazing airline. And if you watch the ticket prices, you can get a pretty good deal on that. And it can be a great hop to a lot of different places, but a great hop, obviously, to Australia. from Singapore. It was another 5 hours to the western coast of Perth.
Another thing that we've learned about Australians is family is everything. We've plugged into two families that just enjoy being with each other, and we were lucky enough to be welcomed into their home for a meal. And then we opened our doors here and they came and visited us. It's very family oriented, which is a beautiful thing. They are friends with their friends for life. My daughter has said she had a hard time acclimating and making friends in Australia because people don't really leave. You know, they go to high school, middle school together, and then they actually continue on their friendships from there. So it's been a little bit hard for them to break into. And also another issue is the dating. Oh, we've got a magpie here.
Yeah,
Couple of them.
I think they're looking for something.
They
might
are.
They might peck our eyes out. We got to be careful.
Men do not approach women here. So you're expected to be a little bit more of the initiator or the aggressor, which hasn't worked out so well for my daughter and her friends yet. But I do want her to return home. So it kind of is working out when I look at it that way.
Yeah, and Mac is trying to extend her stay here. The other interesting thing that they do is that you need to give back. Or
88 days, you have to do something that is rewarding to Australia if you come in on a working visa. So you have to basically go work on a farm. And there's farms everywhere and they're located in gorgeous places, but you have to do manual labor for 88 days of your 1 year working visa. In fact, I think that we need to get Mackenzie out here since she's the inspiration behind this fabulous trip that we're on. Well, we are live with Mac, the whole reason behind this fabulous journey to Australia. And
Mac,
now,
tell us a little bit about your situation here and what you're doing.
Well, when I graduated college, I didn't know exactly what path I wanted to take, and I was deep into the job application process and hit a lot of dead ends. And this idea just kind of came out of nowhere. And my best friend and roommate was like, why don't we just move across the world? And it took a lot of convincing.
well, let me just tell you the convincing. So this child plays lacrosse and wants to grow the sport of lacrosse, and Australia is looking for all kinds of athletes to come and grow sports here. So she volunteered, and I was told that she was going to be playing pro, getting paid, that they were going to give her a car, that they were going to provide her accommodations, and that it was a no-brainer for her to move across the world. And I thought, okay, you know what? That sounds pretty good. I don't have to worry about anything. Lies.
Might have been a couple white lies in there. We did have accommodation. The rest just fell into play. I am playing on a club lacrosse team. It is very casual. It is more for fun, which is exactly what I needed after playing 5 years in college. I did not want it to feel like a job by any means.
Totally. Tell me about your host family. And
yeah, we got here and we lived with the host family for 6 weeks. We lived with the president of my lacrosse club and his wife, his 2 sons, and his parents and his wife's parents, which was crazy. Family compound. Me and my friend Lauren, we just were literally living in their living room. But it was amazing, and we pretty much had to figure out how to live in an entirely new country in the first 6 weeks that we were there.
explain what you had to come with in your bank account. And
We had to come here with 10 grand and got a 1 year work holiday visa. And then we had to get a taxpayer's number. We had to get a car. We had to get a bank account set up. We had to get an Australian phone number. We had to find a house in a housing crisis that we didn't know was happening. And furnish a house. We really did it all. And
one thing I will say on that note is the Australians are very good to Australians. They care about their own people. So it made it hard when Mackenzie moved here. She couldn't just jump in and get an apartment or a house because she needed an EIN number. She couldn't even buy a car without an EIN number. And then she would be going on these casting calls basically to go look at the one house that might be available, and 150 people would show up, and they're going to give it to their Australian person before they're going to give it to somebody that's only here for a year. Right?
Or just
so competitive.
So competitive, but we were going up against families with newborns and 2 sources of income, and we had no income, no jobs. We were just like, please give us a chance. So we actually viewed 6 different houses before the last house. We kind of became friends with the agent, and she was young and cool and was just very curious about us and what we were doing here. But could tell that we had good intentions and that we weren't just gonna.
You did everything right on the list. You checked every box.
And so she was like, I will vouch for you guys. I have another house. No one's coming next week. Come view it. We viewed it. It was awesome. And she really went to bat for us with the owners of the house. And they ended up letting us sign, which was crazy. When you ask the average Australian, they're like, I do not know how you got a house in this market, but like, good for you.
Explain what the house did not come with.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Australians are very strange. No refrigerator, no microwave, no washer, no dryer. So yeah, we had to scavenge on Facebook Marketplace because we were not paying to furnish an entire house. We actually got a refrigerator for free, a microwave, a washer machine, along with our couch, our coffee table, all our bed frames, all our mattresses, pretty much everything in our house we got for free on Facebook.
And what I'd love to say on that note is she has learned a lesson that she would not have learned in America, where mom and dad kind of facilitate everything and make everything happen.
We make our children soft in the US of A.
She was very responsible for making everything happen. She would send me a picture of her with this car that she bought for $1,000, and it had a trailer hitch on it, and they borrowed a trailer from somebody. And she was so proud of herself looking out the rearview mirror, sending me a picture, because it was a free coffee table in the back of her car. And then on the trailer, I think it was your hot pink couch that you found. So I said to her, everything that they drag home is going to make their home feel like their home, and they're going to take pride in it. And she's creative. She put album covers up on the wall when they had no artwork. She took the actual like records out and did another hallway with those. And we just got to see our house, and it feels like a home. I can't believe that you moved across the world and have done so many things that you wouldn't have been capable of doing in the US because of how we enable our kids. And I am so proud of the lessons that you have learned moving across the world and having to take the initiative to do things, because now you showed yourself that you can do anything that you want, and it's impressive.
Yeah, it's been really good wake up call, and me and my roommates talk about it all the time. Just like little minor inconveniences that you guys would always solve for us. It's actually not that hard to solve these yourself, which we've learned, and it hasn't been easy by any means. The first 6 months were rough, and we were all having our second thoughts on whether we actually wanted to stay or not. And then piece by piece, it slowly came together, and it is so rewarding in the end when we're all sitting on our couch like, holy crap, we actually furnished this place. We moved in, we all have jobs, we have a car, like,
you're making it.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
the host family became their family. When I first got to her house this past weekend, I said, wait a minute, you don't have any pictures of mom and dad and your siblings? And she's like, wait, yes, I do. And she shows me a picture, and it's of her host family with her next to her bed. And I'm like, they adopted her. She calls the boys her brothers. We met up with them for dinner, and they couldn't have been more loving and lovely. It's a beautiful thing to recognize that your child can move across the world from you, find surrogate families, and learn life lessons that she might never have learned had she not taken the plunge. And it was her own initiative.
And my son, who is a lifeguard in Asbury, had a good friend that swam for Monmouth University, and he ends up living in Perth and just returned back. And here, that was the family Farley alluded to earlier. They were here, and we were able to spend time with them as well. So it's really amazing when your children reach out and are able to create relationships that go across the world, and you really find that these people are going to be in your life forever when you do these things.
And thank God for Mac, because we have traveled to see her. She moved abroad for 7 weeks, 8 weeks to take a class in Sorrento, and that brought us to the Amalfi Coast. And it's a wonderful situation when your kids are adventurous and they take you places that I probably would never have gone. I definitely would have made it to Amalfi.
I think we kind of facilitate a lot of these.
We do.
For our
I mean,
children,
we do.
let's be honest. She's not going to the Amalfi Coast on her own.
If you had to say one of the most beautiful parts about this culture that you really respect, what you've already shared with us, what would you say they do right?
They prioritize living a happy life over everything. Like, just in terms of work culture, I feel like in America, it's all you graduate college, you get a job, you grind, you grind. A lot of people aren't happy. They just sit in an office, they hate their lives, 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. Here, yes, that is important. People still will go to school and get good jobs, but the workplace is so adamant on enjoying your life outside of work. So you do not get to the office before 9. You do not stay past 5. If you do, they're like, what are you doing? Go home. Go home to your family, go home to your friends, leave. They give you 4 weeks of paid leave no matter what. And they encourage you to take time off and go see the world and explore and take vacations and do all this stuff, which I feel like in America is kind of unheard of these days. Um, and you can just tell when you meet an Australian, they're just so laid back and they're so chill and they're just kind of just at peace with their life, which I feel like everybody in America is on edge all the time.
It's true. We're like a competitive psycho nation in a lot of ways, you know.
Capitalism at its finest.
Yeah.
And it's partially too, I think, because here and in a lot of places in Europe, we've talked about this, Mac, is that there's a fair livable wage.
Yeah.
Where people don't feel like they have to scratch 2 jobs, 3 jobs to make ends meet. If you're doing a job, whether you're a teacher or a professional, you get paid something that you can live on. And in the United States, the cost of living is so different. Where we are, it's tremendous, high and expensive. And
The service industry, for example, if you work in a bar, if you work in a restaurant, you're not getting tipped. No one tips here because they're being paid like a normal salary.
Yeah. Minimum wage here is 32 an hour, might be 35, which is crazy. But like to the backhand of that, sometimes it's boring. Like that's where I have realized that I do kind of appreciate the hustle of America and the competitiveness of everything, because Australians are so laid back that they don't care about that. So as Americans, even my roommates, were like, we get so antsy and bored. No one's given us that competitive energy. So we have to make that ourselves.
You got to bring the grit here.
Yeah.
You got the grit here.
got the
You
grit
the
here.
grit.
Yeah.
Another thing that you said that I thought was really beautiful is just the minimalistic aspect of things. You don't need everything that you want.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't have to just buy something to buy it.
That we learned quickly when we moved into our house and we're furnishing our house. And we just think in America, you order everything you need on Amazon these days. We were like, where's Marshall's? Where's a TJ Maxx? Where's a Home Goods? Like everything that we need, we can find in a second in America. Here, people are, it's not like frugalness. It's more just they know where to go to get their things. They don't need everything. And
They don't make it as convenient because it's not that
important.
exactly.
Yeah, we just care so much about all the extra nonsense stuff that really you don't need.
See, this is an invaluable lesson I had to send my child across the world to figure out. Hello, this is a beautiful thing.
But yeah, I mean, we were going on Amazon, sitting in our house in Australia, and there's nothing, or it would take months to get delivered here. And we're like, oh, wow, we can actually just go to the drugstore and get a toothbrush instead of having to order one online, you know? Like, it just teaches you not to be so damn lazy all the time, or that you don't really need everything that you think you do.
It's another fantastic takeaway.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I love her. I'd like to take her away with me. However, let's talk a little bit about this job that you landed on. Instead of going into the service industry, you decided to go into LinkedIn and connect and get resume builder jobs.
Yes. So again, coming from America, I had a little stressor behind me being here the whole time, thinking about going back and not having something to put on my resume for another year or so. And that would set me apart, being that I'm 2 years post grad and have no experience. So I set the tone immediately that I was going to find a job that I could put on my resume that would set me apart when I get home to America. And it was not easy because again, nobody really wants to hire an American that's only here for a year, or with my visa, you can only work for an employer for 6 months and then you have to switch to another employer. So it's hard to find someone that's willing to,
Invest
yeah.
in the 6 month sitch.
And so when I first got here, I saw this job with the company that I worked for, and they were hiring like a marketing field officer. And I applied for that position, not having that much experience, and it was more in the events management side of marketing. But the the head of marketing asked me to come in for an interview, and I met her, and she was awesome, and we chatted. But at the end of the day, she was like, I think I might go with someone with more experience, but loved your energy, whatever. And I was like, so nice to meet you. Couple months go by. I ended up finding like another little filler social media gig, and I was nannying. And then I get this call again from this marketing manager, and she was like, are you still looking for a job? And I was like, actually, I am. She said, we need a social media manager, and we know that you're only here for 6 more months, but we don't care. We'll take you. You're hired. And I went in and met with her, and she told me the logistics. And yeah, so I work for a supermarket chain in WA, Western Australia, called Spudshed, and I am one of their social media managers, which is really an awesome gig. I work 3 times a week. I just had the opportunity to go to Italy for 10 days with the crew.
In Sicily.
And yeah. So I have gotten very lucky. I'm very grateful, and I love my marketing team. It's a group of girls. We all get along. We love it. And
Explain Tony.
so yeah. So the market that I work for is called Spudshed. We have actually almost 20 stores spanning all of Western Australia. But my CEO, the main man behind the biz, is this guy, Tony Galati, who's actually a celebrity of Western Australia. He is the potato king. He is the spud master, as they call potatoes over here, are spuds. And he's just an icon in Western Australia. And I didn't know who he was, obviously, when I get the job. And half of my job is to record him and post him all over socials, because he's the face of the brand. He's what people love about this grocery
He's
chain.
the eyebrows of the brand.
Yeah, look him up. His eyebrows are
We'll post a picture.
giant caterpillars.
They appreciate her humor, and they appreciate what you bring to the table, and they're letting her boots to the ground run with a lot,
Yeah,
which I like.
yeah, it's an ever-growing industry, and they pride themselves on low prices and doing things that aren't, what is it called? Doing things not out of the norm, but
They grow everything themselves.
no,
For the
but
most
like
Innovative.
not innovative, like against just the normal, like compared to normal grocery chains, like they're doing stuff very like rogue, a little bit rogue. And
It's working for him.
it is, because people
Another family affair. It's all of his sons. He's following in his father's
yeah,
footsteps.
and he is from the ground up, like a farmer born and raised, and has farms that span all of Western Australia, and grows the most amazing produce. And people just love him for his realness. Like, he wears the same outfit everywhere he goes. He's got this like button up cut off shirt. He's got these little short shorts, his boots, and like that's literally all he needs. And that's the Tony Galati style. And people are obsessed with him. It's crazy. He is actually a celebrity. He gets stopped anytime we are filming in the store. People are constantly coming up to him asking for a picture. I never expected that I would be in this position. And
It's meant to be.
yeah,
Meant to
Meant to be.
Well, thank you so much for making us come to Australia,
Yay.
baby.
so glad that you guys are here.
We love
So
you.
fun. So fun. All right. We love Mac. We love Australia. Peace out. Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. We are back in studio to bring you our amazing top 3.
And starting off at number 1, the sting that cures. Honeybee venom has killed 100% of aggressive breast cancer cells in less than 60 minutes in an Australian research trial that happened in Perth, Australia, which is where we just were. So I found this to be fascinating. It wiped out triple negative and HER2, which are 2 of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer. Melittin, Melittin, is responsible for the killing effect, and it's a peptide. It makes up 40 to 50% of a bee's dry weight in venom. It enters the cell's surface, creates holes that causes cells to die. And it also disrupts signaling pathways, which would slow down tumor growth.
That's just amazing. And when Farley put this story on my radar, we did a quick search, and now, you know, the UCLA's doing research on it. It's really become a very exciting opportunity for breast cancer, which affects so many people, my mother included.
The second leading cause in death in women.
The bees are so important. And we continue to scratch the surface on how important they are in everything in life. So this does not shock me.
Do not step on a bee. Do not try to ever kill a bee. If you see a bee, don't, you know, you can run from it, but don't try to harm them, because we need them to continue to do a million things, not just pollinate.
And if you haven't seen Jerry Seinfeld's movie, The Bee Movie, it's definitely worthwhile.
I love that. I do. I love that movie. Coming in at number 2, fields are for food, not solar panels.
This is a great story. If you're paying attention and you see solar panels cropping up across the country, you're psyched, right? But there are taking over some places that should be used for other things. They're making carports out of them. So basically, it's a solar panel overlay that goes over where people park. A lot of schools in New Jersey have them. Rutgers uses them. They're really across the board in a lot of different places. So I think this is amazing, and hopefully it gets more traction, and we have more solar everywhere.
It makes a ton of sense, because if schools are incentivized to do that for tax breaks, think about how all the parking lots at grocery stores, malls, places like that, if you are collecting solar because of the panels that are covering it, you're also evading weather and elements. Your car's not getting as hot as it typically would be in hotter months, or if you're not dodging hail, you're not dodging rain, whatever. There's a lot of reasons, and at the same time, to be collecting energy, it just is a no-brainer.
Yeah, and they're getting better at the technology for the panels themselves, and they're coming down in price. So I think you'll be seeing a lot more of these, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more battery storage and availability to get off the grid.
And last but not least, number 3, the Rumble Strip Symphony.
I love this story. This is a great one. Being just in the UAE, where we found this story from, they're really trying to do a lot of unique things and creating a symphony out of these rumble strips.
If you don't know what the rumble strip is, just so you know, it is the pavement edge that's scored to wake you up if you're like driving and you're suddenly falling asleep or you're not paying attention. It's like the zzz, 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 zzz that you feel, and suddenly you're like, whoa, it puts you back into reality.
Yeah, it makes noise and vibrates your car.
Exactly. And it actually, funny enough, was not invented. There's still kind of, a question mark around who really came up with this. A lot of people are claiming it. But the first time it was truly integrated in the United States just happened to be at Garden State Parkway in good old New Jersey in 1952. So I'm sure it's responsible for countless positive statistics. But if you can rumble into a symphony put on by Beethoven, why not? It might make people stay in the strips a little too much.
Yeah, let's see if we can find one here in the United States. I haven't heard them here, but I know they're in Europe, and it's the streets of music. So hopefully we can find some good tunes.
They should do it as you're like veering off to Asbury.
Yep.
Or something,
to the
right?
Stone Pony. Well, Far, thanks so much for those top 3.
As usual, we scour the headlines to try to find who is going to be our Got Grit Award recipient of the week. And Jen stumbled upon a fabulous human.
So this human is a native Floridian, like my co-host here, Farley Boyle, who is from Fort Lauderdale. He is an octogenarian, 80-year-old man who has frequented the running circuit in his life. He just completed the toughest race in Death Valley, California. So he did the 135-mile ultra marathon and completed it this year at 80 years old, which is, he was only one of 93 people to do so. So not only is he somebody who perseveres, but he takes it to the next level, because he was unable to finish 3 years ago at 77 and decided that he had a score to settle. He was coming back to take that race on in Death Valley and finish. So I am hats off to Bob because not many people at any age would take that on, let alone as an 80-year-old human being.
I ran one marathon in my life, the New York Marathon, and my toenails are still recovering.
I can't even imagine what the temperature was. That's the part to me about this story that is so incredible, because not only is it summertime and it's Death Valley, but we're also experiencing a lot of heat and crazy weather. So the fact that this human being had the mental fortitude and energy to finish is just incredible. So amazing job. We're really, really happy for Becker, and you'll see his photo up on our website.
I think I saw a terrible headline that somebody also passed away in that Ulta Death Valley race. Well, now we need a little incentive. We need some music that picks us up and inspires us. And Jen has the song of the week.
Okay, here we go. Beautiful song. The river's wide, we'll swim across. We're starting up a brand new day. It could happen to you just like it happened to me. There's simply no immunity. There is no guarantee. I say love's such a force if you find yourself in it. Say time for reflection.
Why is it so hard if you don't hear the music?
You know it. You know it.
I'm annoyed at
It's
it.
one of our friends' favorite artists. Give you a hint. Annie McGinty.
Oh, okay. So if it's Annie's favorite artist, she's got a lot of them.
One person. Begins with an S. We talked about bees.
I'm terrible.
Sting.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God, please. You know what? I'm working on zero. Okay.
She's just back from her trip.
Not only am I just back, but after a 36-hour trip home, because we had a 9-hour layover and we had some problems once we landed getting off the plane. So upside down and backwards right now.
But she looks damn good. So I don't think so. So anyway, that's Brand New Day by Sting.
Brand New Day.
And
I know that song very well.
He's a great lyricist and obviously an incredible musician. So if you haven't listened to that song in a while, tune into it. It's on his Brand New Day album.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We're very happy to be back in the USA. We enjoyed our trip immensely. It was so fabulous being with Mackenzie, and we're going to post a family photo of all of us together. Just go on an adventure, plan things, make it happen, go with friends. You create memories that are priceless.
It was an incredible trip. It always goes too fast, but traveling the world and gives you an opportunity to see things in a new way, to appreciate other cultures, and to really appreciate home and getting back settled to your day-to-day. So hopefully your day-to-day includes us here at Girls Gone Gritty. We look forward to you guys tuning in next week. And next week, I think we're going to try and cover an issue that we saw throughout our travels, which was the proliferation of plastic.
And we mentioned that in this episode. And Mackenzie is living in a really beautiful, clean place because plastic isn't a non-issue.
All right. Peace out.